Hey guys, Scott Fishman here. Today, coming off the heels of his big North American Championship victory at NXT TakeOver War Games, what better guest to have right now than Johnny Gargano? Hi Johnny, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Good. It just seems right now you and Candice are kind of having the best time right now with your characters and all that you're doing. Would you say this is kind of the most fun you've had in your career in NXT, just being able to kind of show this different side of personality to yourself?
Oh, definitely. I think it's one of my most favorite things so far that I've been able to do. Obviously, the whole Johnny Wrestling Underdog arc holds a special place in my heart. But to be able to kind of show this new side of me, and it's funny because people look at me and they see I'm the prototypical white meat babyface. But I think what you're seeing on screen right now is the most lifelike, real-life Johnny Gargano there is, which is pretty crazy to say, maybe terrifying to say as well. But, I mean, it's more real me now than it ever has been, and it's the more real me and Candice dynamic than there ever has been as well. So it's super fun to be able to show that on screen now.
Where did the idea for the Scream mask come from? I mean, is this someone just watched the movie or find out that there was another movie coming out, and they're like, this would be a cool idea to build off of?
No, so we found out that we were going to go with like a masked character. And me being, I guess, me, I kind of made a joke about how, maybe it should look like this. And it was the Scream mask guy. Because as soon as I heard mask, and it was around Halloween, too. For some reason, that's the first mask that popped in my head, because it's for Halloween Havoc. I was like, I hope it looks like the Scream guy. And it was kind of made in a joking fashion. But the more we thought about it, I guess we kind of were like, maybe there is something there. Because especially the way you look how the story planned out, I think one of my favorite parts and like underlying parts is the fact that there's always like two killers in Scream. It's always kind of the swerve. So I think that there's a little underlying storytelling there.
And I think what's great also with you and Candice is you've been able to kind of branch off and kind of build new stars in the process. You have Indy Hartwell, who now is entering the mix, and Austin Theory, who we haven't seen for a couple weeks. Was the decision always there for Austin to be included? I mean, how did that come about?
Yes, that's been in motion for a long time, actually. I think when my initial heel turn started, which was last April now at this point, Theory was always I kind of pictured to do with me because I wrestled with him a few times in Evolve, and I think they kind of view it as sort of the Triple H, Randy Orton-esque sort of relationship, which I agreed with, and I thought Theory has tons of potential, obviously, but he was always in the mix to be one of those guys with me. And like Indy as well. Me and Candice both think very highly of Indy, and we think she has a very, very bright future. So we are very, very excited to have her with us as well.
You kind of see it as a point where almost to come full circle, where when you were entering NXT, you had maybe mentors that would guide you through the process, and now this is a chance for you to kind of give back in a different kind of way.
Definitely, and I think like we likened it. I don't want to say we likened it to kind of evolution in a sense. Obviously, we're not putting ourselves on that pedestal because they're like not kind of stable for many reasons. But just the idea of being able to be in the ring with and mold younger talent for the future, we think that is very important. And obviously, like I think just Indy being able to be around us, and Theory being able to be around us, can just bring out different elements of their characters and bring out different things that the people haven't seen on screen yet.
And through the last couple of weeks, you got to work with Leon Ruff, who kind of came out of nowhere and had this big upset, which we haven't seen in a long time to this sort of level. What is it like for you to kind of be a part of this and maybe help molding a future star and creating, genuine surprise of someone who just came out of left field and someone we haven't seen on television very often?
Yeah, and you said it yourself. Yeah, I mean, you said it yourself. Like, I mean, Leon is and this idea was kind of brought up a while ago as well, and I was always kind of the guy to do it with. Obviously, like the inclusion of the North American title kind of just added to it. But like Leon has been known as that sort of, I don't want to say job guy, but during this whole pandemic era, he was sort of the job guy that was used numerous times to put other guys over. And he's always had a great attitude. He's always just been willing to do whatever anyone asks of him. And I think, like, that needs to be rewarded. I think that sort of attitude needs to be applauded. He never scoffed at anything, and just for me to be given the opportunity to help Leon and establish Leon and make Leon, in the sense where, look, like now Leon can be, before maybe you'd see Leon in a match and you wouldn't think twice about him. You think it was just used to get the other guy over. But now Leon is, I think, a ready-made character on NXT now. I think you can put him in the ring with anyone and he could be viable. And that was the most important thing for me. I likened it to, I mean, obviously, the 1, 2, 3 Kid, Razor Ramon. And also in my head, it was also the sort of Chris Jericho, Triple H, when Triple H lost the title to Chris Jericho on Raw for a bit as well. I likened it to that, and I think it just helped everyone, honestly. I think you only find angles every now and then that just kind of benefit everyone. It helped Priest establish kind of a different side of him. It helped me kind of give me something to gripe about for a little bit, and also establish Leon. So I think it just helped everyone, and it was good business all around.
And you're now in your third reign with the North American Championship. In many ways, I kind of view it as a workers' championship, just like it did the Intercontinental Champion. What do you think of this title, and just what does it mean to you to have it compared to your previous reigns now that you're kind of in this new position?
It was always my goal, and it still is my goal, to kind of take the North American Championship and elevate it even higher. For me, like you said it, like the North American Championship in my head is I want to put it on the same pedestal as the old Workhorse Intercontinental Championship title. You always looked at that title as kind of the match you needed to see on that show. And I want the North American title to be that sort of title. And for me, I need to feel I want a chance to have a title and have a reign and be able to defend it and be able to kind of go on a run with the title, because I haven't had a chance to do that yet. I've always been kind of the underdog where it was more about the chase for me than the actual title reign. So for me now, I feel like to have a chance to reign with the North American Championship, that will really cement my legacy for me.
Mm-hmm. And in the last week, we've seen the tributes pour in with honoring Pat Patterson, and rightfully so, just an important part of this company over the years. What did he mean to you? I know he spent some time in NXT as well, and I know you guys did that 10-bell salute as well on NXT last week. So do you have like a favorite memory of his? Like, what comes to mind when you think of Pat Patterson in your eyes?
I didn't get to interact with Pat as much as I'd like to, honestly. But every single time I saw him backstage, he always had a smile on his face. He was always willing to help anyone out and always willing to lend a hand in anything you wanted. Everyone I know speaks very, very highly of him. And I actually told Shawn Michaels this recently, because he kind of told a story about how Pat Patterson was the one who told him to do the super kick. And I told Shawn, I was like, man, if Pat wasn't around, what would all of us indie guys be doing? We'd probably be doing that weird back suplex for a little bit and not doing a super kick. So yeah, I mean, his legacy speaks for itself. And like, I think WWE and NXT and wrestling in general was molded by him. So it's just really tragic that he's not around anymore. But I was happy I was able to be a part of the 10-bell on NXT.
And we're headed toward the end of the year. A lot of people talk about what's to come. Hopefully, we'll move past this difficult time that we're in. What kind of, as NXT continues to grow, you have all this new talent coming in. For you who has been there so long and as a veteran, what do you want to see from NXT in 2021?
Just keep building, man. Just keep growing. I think we're all excited for things to get back to somewhat normal, but we have made the best of things in this era. We've been able to create new stars and create new people on the show that maybe wouldn't have gotten a chance if there were crowds still around. But for NXT, I think we just got to go back to hopefully having the best atmosphere in the world. I put the takeover atmospheres in front of 15,000 people up against anything I've ever seen, ever been a part of. It's just special. So I'm excited and hopefully excited to get back to that. But NXT in general, I believe we are really good at long-term storytelling. And I think as long as we stick to that being our bread and butter, the future is very, very bright.
All right. And lastly, last time I spoke to you, we were talking about, you going back to Disney and hopefully one day getting that chance to do that. But you have this segment where you're at home and it's dinner with the Garganos. I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, what is Christmas like at the Garganos' house as far as decorations, traditions? What do you guys do, and how has that changed this year?
So I guess if we're talking about on-screen Garganos, then I guess we'll have to wait and see, because that might be a thing.
Right.
Real life, I am very much so, I need my Christmas in Cleveland. So we spend Thanksgiving with Candace's family. I am always with my family for Christmas, because I for some reason I just need that sort of like wintry sort of cold for Cleveland for kind of Christmas time. And I always make sure I at least drive by. I don't go in it, but I always drive by the Christmas Story house, because it is actually located in Cleveland, Ohio. So that's always one of my Christmas Eve traditions. And Candace obviously is very good at baking, so she makes tons of cookies and does all that stuff as well. So that is kind of our Christmas Eve sort of thing. Christmas Day, me and Candace have a tradition where we don't put the presents out beforehand. We wait till each other goes to bed, and then we sneak out and put the presents out, kind of like Santa put them out. That's one of our things. But yeah, so like obviously Christmas is my favorite holiday. So I'm very excited for these next couple weeks, even though, things are a little bit different now, but we're going to make the best of it.
Anything on your wish list, Christmas wish list?
Not really. Like, it's so hard. Like, it's weird now being like an adult and like having like money and stuff that you can just go to. As a child, you don't have that opportunity. You don't have the chance to buy anything you want. But now as an adult, like, there's like the internet and stuff, and you can buy stuff. But nothing in particular right now on my wish list. No. Yeah, it's kind of sad to say, but no, nothing really. I mean, I got my North American Championship back for a third time, so I guess there's that. That's all. I'm good now.
And you got your television, so I think you're all.
Yeah, so I'm good.